Hello friends, welcome back to the second video of the Consumer Protection Act. Now, revising the first video, we looked into the meaning of the Consumer Protection Act, the need of the same legislation, the objectives, the concept of the negligence when we are talking about the Consumer Protection Act, and certain provisions of the Indian Constitution and the Consumer Protection Act. Now moving on, as we discussed in the last video, that the whole act can be divided into three main parts. The first part was important definitions. So friends, let's get started with the important definitions. Now, when Consumer Protection Act was enacted, the main objective was that to provide social justice and to protect the interest of the people at large. This was the main objective of the legislation, and so it was imposed by the Supreme Court in the Lucknow Development Authority case that the same objective must be protected at any cost. So who will make sure, or rather who will ask the authority that the same is not protected? The person, any individual who would make the complaint would be the person who will ask the authority if the same interest is not protected to protect the same interest. So, moving on with the definitions, the first definition that we will be looking into is of the complainant. The term complainant has been defined under Section 2, Subclause B of the Consumer Protection Act. Now, what do you mean by the complainant? Complainant can be any individual, a consumer, or any voluntary consumer association which is registered under the Companies Act or under any other law for the time being in force, or the central government or any state government which makes a complaint. One or more consumers also can be considered, or rather they can be covered under the definition of the complainant. Or in case of the death of a consumer, his heir or representative would be considered a correct identified complainant for the time being in force to make any complaint under the act. That means, my friends, that any person who rather consumes the goods or avails the services, or their legal heir or representatives if they are dead, or any state or central government, can be termed or they can stand in the court of law as the identified complainant. Now, when we are talking about the complainant, what that individual would do? That individual needs to go to the perfect, or rather the quiet authority to make complaint in writing for any grievances that they have. Now, when we are talking about the term complaint, it must also be defined. So, under the Section 2 Subclause C, the term complaint has been defined under the Consumer Protection Act. Now, what do you mean by the complaint? A complaint would mean any allegation in writing which is made by the complainant for any unfair trade practices or restricted trade practices, or any fixation of the goods, or rather any unwanted or wrong price which is displayed on the goods by the seller, or any non-compliance with the quality of the goods or the quantity of the goods as required to be complied with, or if the trader could have known the due diligence that the goods so offered are unsafe to the public, or rather the services are hazardous to the health, or rather any due diligence which needs to be taken care by the seller was not taken care, then that complaint can be made in writing to the proper authority, and the same should be listened and heard by them and resolved under this act. Now friends, when we are talking about the complaint, we must know that what all information must be there in the complaint. The complaint must be containing the allegations in writing, the name, the description of the complainant, the documents in affidavit which supports their allegations, the relief or compensation that they are asking for, and also that the complaint should be signed by any representative or the person or rather the complainant in a proper manner and format, and that same should be filed to the proper authority for the relief grantations. Now friends, when we said that the complaint can be made by the complainant who may also be a consumer, that means it becomes very important for us to define the term consumer as well. The term consumer has been defined under section 2 subclause 1D of the Consumer Protection Act. A consumer means any person who buys any goods for a consideration. Now friends, consideration means any monetary aspect. Now the same consideration may have already been paid or partly paid, or rather the same consideration may have promised to be paid in future, or any deferred payment systems may have been included by the users for such goods. Then the same goods can be termed, or rather the same transaction can be termed as a good transaction to go, and so the person consuming such goods would be termed as a consumer. But friends, keep one thing in mind, that if any individual is acquiring that goods for any commercial purposes, then that person cannot be considered as a consumer. Now friends, here we talked about the goods, but when we are talking about the Consumer Protection Act, it also includes the services. So that means that the term consumer can also be there for the services availed. So when we are talking about the consumers, it is not only for the persons or individual who is buying the goods. It is applicable to the individual who is rendering the services as well. But the same application of the definition would be applied when it is goods and the services. So that means, my friends, that any individual who buys the goods to consume the same for themselves would be considered as a consumer, and in the same case, if any individual is having or rather availing any services for their own use, then the same individual will be covered under the term of the consumers. Now friends, under the National Seeds Corporation Limited versus M. Madhusudan Reddy in 2012, there was a question with regard to that whether the farmers be termed as a consumer under the same act. Now, the farmers, they were getting substandard seeds for their plantations. Now, this caused huge loss to them. The farmers went to the authorities. The person, they allegated that the farmers cannot be covered under the definition of the consumer of the Consumer Protection Act. The same question was resolved by the court, stating that the farmers are very well, or rather they can be covered as under the term of the consumer under this act, so as to get, or rather to give them the compensatory relief, because if their loss would be there, the protection of the interest, which is the main objective, or rather one of the objectives of the act, will not be protected. And so under this case, the farmers were allowed to be termed as a consumer. Now friends, when we are talking about who is a consumer, it is very important to understand who is not a consumer. So there are two categories under this important aspect. One, the person who buys the goods for any commercial purposes cannot be termed as a consumer. And the second, who avails the services free of cost, they cannot be considered as a consumer. That means, my friends, that if I am buying any goods for the purpose of the resale, that means any commercial purposes, then I cannot be termed as a consumer, and this will protect the interest of the buyers at large. Now friends, when we are talking about the services, that if any individual is availing the services free of charge, then that person will not be considered as a consumer. Now, under this, there comes the doctrine of the privity. The doctrine of the privity of the contract is a common law principle which provides that a contract cannot confer rights or impose any kind of obligation upon any person who is not a party to the contract. Now, the premise is just that only party to the contract should be able to sue or to enforce their right or claims, or the damages such as under the law of the contract. And this doctrine is made applicable also under the Consumer Protection Act. Now friends, under the Bihar School Examination Board versus Suresh Prasad Sinha, the Apex Court has held that the School Examination Board is not a service provider, and a student who takes an examination is not termed as a consumer, and consequently the complaint under this act cannot be maintainable against the board. Now, the board is a statutory authority, my friends, and they were not acting as a commercial function. The examination fees, they were paid by the student. They are not consideration for the availment of any services, but the charges paid for the privileges of the participation in the examination. And therefore, my friends, the Apex Court held that they are not consumers, and so they cannot file a complaint against the board authority under the Consumer Protection Act. Now moving on to the next definition, that is defect in the goods. Now this term has been defined under section 2 subclause 1F of the Act. Now defect means any fault or imperfection or shortcoming in the quality, quantity, potency or standard which is required to be maintained by or under any law for the time being in force, or it is claimed by the trader that in any manner, whether in relation to any goods. Now these allegations in the defect of the goods may be made against the trader or the government or the public undertakings also. Now there was a very interesting case under this term, that it was C.N. Anantharam versus Fiat India Limited. Under this case, the person bought a Fiat car, diesel car, from the manufacturing unit. Now, that person had paid a certain amount for the same car. Okay, so when the car was taken out for the drive, they found a particular noise coming out from the car. So the person made the complaint. Now the person, now from where the car was bought, they replaced the defective parts from the car. But still, the person who bought the car was not satisfied with the same transfer. And so this person went up to the National Commission to prove that that person has been given the defect or has been facing the defects in the goods under the Consumer Protection Act. Now my friends, there comes a twist when the National Commission held that the noise that was coming out from the car was only coming out from diesel car, okay, and not from the petrol car, and from that model on only. So the Apex Court also opined that the same problem was not a manufacturing defect, and so that problem cannot be termed as a defect in the goods. And so the compensation which was asked by the petitioner, that is the individual, was not paid in this case, because the defects in the goods under the definition of this Consumer Protection Act was not justified. Now when the same terms are being applied for the services rendered, then the same can be termed as the deficiency in the services. That means if any person, while before giving the services, has promised a particular level of the services or standard, and the person is not following the same, then the deficiency in the services will be considered as the deficiency, and that problem would be solved by the authority if any, and the fault would be fixed. So friends, the other definitions, consumer dispute, unfair trade practices, restrictive trade practices, and the rights of the consumers should be discussed in the next video. Till then, stay tuned and study well. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much.